What's up everyone, welcome to another episode. You might remember me saying this recently. Ultegra is the one to go, it's the best bang for the buck for a high performance group set. And while I'll still stand to this statement that the Ultegra group set is potentially one of the best price performance ratio group sets, but this video is not going to be about that. This video is more going to be about you being a casual coffee drinker and really wanting to get this 4,000 or 5,000 euro espresso machine that you've seen in your local coffee shop, or you thinking about getting this sports car that you absolutely don't need because you're only going like 5 kilometers per day to work, but these are the things that we still want, even though you already know that you absolutely don't need them. But I spoke with Mantel recently, who are kindly enough to support my channel again with actually a 5% extra discount code. So if you use Klein-5 during checkout at mantel.com, you get 5% off on your order. This is going to be a timely limited offer. I'm going to put all the details in the description below and also the code so you can easily copy paste it. So together with Mantel, I was thinking about how could another collaboration look like? And I thought it will have to do with the Seka Spear, because now I can officially say it, together with the Bossy Strada SS, the Seka Spear and this bike is, these are my two favorite bikes of all time. So one titanium one and one carbon one. I think it is a dream setup. And yeah, this one was weighing just slightly above 6 kilograms when I was building it up. I've switched out a couple of components in the meantime. I swapped out the Ultegra crankset for an Alili X310 crankset with some Dura-Ace chain rings. I also swapped out the saddle for one of my favorite saddles of all time. So there's going to be a dedicated video on that. And we thought that it would be nice to try to get this bike below 6 kilograms. And how could we do this? There was just one answer: with Dura-Ace. So today we're going to be upgrading my favorite carbon bike of all times, swapping out the remaining Ultegra components for some brand new Dura-Ace Di2 ones and seeing if we can get it below 6 kilograms. But before we get started, let's weigh it in real quick to see where we're starting off, and then we'll start swapping out components for some glossy Dura-Ace ones, which I think are going to look nicely with this glossy paint job as well. But let's see once it's done. Let's go. All right, so let's start it up and let's hang in this Seka in here. And I think starting off at 6.1 kilograms, the chance, it is quite high. We're gonna get it below 6 kilograms. This is, by the way, also weight without pedals, so feel free to complain about that in the comments, but this is just how I weigh bikes since the beginning of this channel, so maybe we'll put some pedals on at the end, depending on how far below 6 kilograms we will get. So now, let's swap out some components. Let's go. So first, let's get the chain off. For that, we're trying to locate the quick link, which is up here. There we go. Open up the quick link and let it just fall down. There we go. We're also just going to be upgrading this Ultegra chain with a Dura-Ace chain, which is supposed to be a little lighter. So we'll find out how much lighter. Now, rear derailleur. So yeah, we first disconnect the Di2 cable, nice and easy. And then we just loosen this bolt over here. There we go. Done. Let's drop in the Dura-Ace one. Get the new one in. There we go. And let's connect the Di2 cable. Done. Next, front derailleur. Let's get this one off. Just loosen up this one bolt over here. There we go. Now we can access the Di2 cable. Done. Now hopefully drop in replacement. Let's first connect the Di2 cable. There we go. As with all other builds, we want the outer teeth, let's say 1 to 2 millimeters below, below this cage edge. So I place it here, and it's also important that it's parallel with the outer ring as well. All right, now we can tighten it. And now, while we're here, I hope I'm not getting anything here because I just slammed the cranks against my head while trying to show you what I'm going to show you now in another take. One bottom. How smooth this big one bottom bracket is. I love it. With the derailleurs done, I know we still got to put in the chain, but let's first swap out all the components. We're now gonna swap out the shifters, and for this we gotta, unfortunately, de-wrap the bar tape. I'm curious if I'm gonna be able to re-wrap this again, because I really have to take it down all the way. Or maybe I don't have to take it down all the way. Maybe, let me see if I'll be able to actually just unwrap it halfway and just keep the clamp from the shifters here. I don't know, is the clamp a different one on the Dura-Ace versus the Ultegra one? Let me find out first. Okay, so it looks like the Dura-Ace clamp is a titanium one, and yeah, this one isn't, so unwrap the whole bar tape. Let's go. All right. Time to install these beautiful new shifters. One thing that I'm gonna do now to save a bit of time and headache is I'm gonna leave the old olive on, so I'm not gonna be cutting the hoses further to put a new olive on and a new pin. I hope that this will work, that it will still keep the system airtight. I've done this in the past successfully. Let's see if this is gonna work out. Normally, I think it's not recommended. I think you should just be cutting the hose and put a new olive on, but the cables are calculated a little bit too tight, I would say, and I would have to re-hose the whole bike again. So yeah, let's see. Wish me luck that this is gonna work out. Now, let's go, start with this one. So let's move this one into place. Before positioning it, that is making it a little bit easier when it comes to fiddling this all together. Let's tighten that nut here and hope it's gonna work. Push it in and tighten it up a bit. There we go. I hope that is gonna be enough. Now let's place the shifter where it should be sitting. Okay, just roughly for now, until we have the second one placed. There we go. Let's move it into place. Now I'm just gonna connect this nut back into the system. All right, some resistance. There we go. Now let's put it in place. Alright, nice and aero. Go. That's looking good. So next up, we're going to be installing the brakes. And to do this, as I'm going to be just mounting the brake itself, so I'm going to take those hoses off, which are filled with mineral oil, also on the bike. I'm quickly going to take the wheels off, so the risk of contamination is going to be reduced. So let's take the wheels off. Now let's turn the bike around and we can swap out the brakes. Okay, let's get the bolts out first. By the way, these are the hex tools from Vera. I featured them in my previous video about my essentials, so in case you are interested, in what tools I'm using most of the time, have a look at that video. I'm gonna link it somewhere up here. All right. And here we're gonna try the same again, not having to cut the olive. You can already see some oil escaping, so we might have to bleed them. But let's see if we can reuse the little olive. Okay, now we're slotting this in again and connecting the hose. Make sure that's pushed all the way in. Okay, we'll tighten it once it's properly mounted here. We're not going to tighten them to final spec yet because we still need the brake to be moving around so that we can center them later. Now we can torque this up. Should be good. Now let's do the front. Okay, here we also first disconnect the hose. And now we can loosen the bolts. Alright, we see some oil dripping, so let's definitely put a towel here on the floor. Now let's install the Dura-Ace brake. Tightening by hand first. Make sure that the hose is pushed all the way in. Okay, we'll tighten it when it's mounted. Again, keep it loose so that you can still move it so that we can center it in a bit. So before we mount the wheels back, let's quickly do my favorite part of building up bikes, Bartape. So I guess as with all other videos, this is going to be a time lapse so that you don't see all the mistakes that I'm making along the way. Right, better than I thought. Other side. Nice, so I would say let's put the wheels in and then it's time to put it on the scale. I'll quickly do some very quick centering of the brakes. There we go. Right. Okay, it is time to put it on the scale. Let's see if we can get it below 6 kilograms. I was weighing the components on the way, so I think it should be possible, but it's going to be tight, I guess. So let's find out. Okay, let's turn it on. Yep. Okay, let's get the bike up. Let's go. Oh yes! So I'm very, very happy with the outcome. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, swapping out those components because, as I said, drop-in replacements was quite nice. And if you also enjoyed this episode, at least a little bit, then consider hitting that like button. Also, consider subscribing, because I know that the majority of you is coming back, watching the videos, but it's actually not subscribing. And yeah, with that, as always, I say thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.